Chapter 31 Marriage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Facing the combined forces of 2 Soul Emperors and 2 Soul Kings, the remaining members of this gang were quickly eliminated. The gang leader is barely good enough, and he is also a high-level Soul King. Why do you want to kill us? That the leader of the Black Tiger gang asked before he died. Why should I kill you? There are many people who want to kill you. It's just that you are unlucky. The protection fee is on my head. Who will die if you don't die? The 5th soul skill, Sword of Ice. In this way, after Yuan Changqing answered his question, he used his 5th soul skill to solve him. Sister-in-law, let's all search separately and move all the valuable things away. The 4 of them searched quickly and briefly, and after finding the valuable things they could find, they quickly left here. The movement here also attracted the attention of the people around. Not long after Yuan Changqing and the others left, the city guards came to check. I saw corpses all over the courtyard, and blood was still flowing on the ground. However, the creator here has returned home. By the next day, almost everyone in the west of the city knew that the Black Tiger gang had been wiped out, and the vendors here were very happy. However, what they don't know is that when one force dies, another force will rise. My sister-in-law and the others also went to work in the store on time. No one else knew that they were responsible for what happened last night. Maybe only some relatively powerful people discovered some clues, so they told their subordinates not to provoke him. In the next few days, some people observed the location of my sister-in-law's store from a distance, but she and the others ignored her and went to and from get off work as usual every day. The people from those forces reported the information they found after they returned. They knew that the owner of the shop here was a soul master like the Soul Emperor. As for whether there was a soul master above the Soul Saint, they did not find out. In this way, Yuan Changqing stayed for a few more days, and after seeing that there was no trouble, he was ready to leave. Before leaving, Yuan Changqing held a simple wedding with Catherine at home and officially became husband and wife with her. They also planned to hold it again after returning to Tiando City, and he couldn't aggrieve Catherine. On the wedding night, Catherine was dressed very beautifully, just like a princess in a fairy tale from her previous life. Husband, I finally become your wife, love me. With the beauty in front of her, Yuan Changqing naturally cannot let her down. Afterwards, both of them looked satisfied, and Catherine lay on Yuan Changqing's chest and told her. Husband, like Sister Yuyan, I also want to have one of our children. Yuan Changqing stroked Catherine's smooth back, thought for a while and said. That's okay. Your soul power is now level 66, and you're still a little far away from becoming a soul saint. But if you want to have a child, we'd better work harder. After saying that, the two started fighting again. After a long time, they finally retreated. This time Yuan Changqing's family will go to Tiando City because their family will officially meet with Catherine's family. Then there was another wedding for the 2 of them in Tiando City, so their whole family went out together. They thought this was a family trip, chartered 3 carriages in Soto City, and set off together. The family's shop and brewery were on track, and there were dedicated people taking care of them, so they set off with peace of mind. After stopping along the way, they passed through many cities. Half a month later, Yuan Changqing and his family arrived in Tiando City and stayed directly at Catherine's hotel. Later, Catherine's family also warmly received Yuan Changqing's family at home, and they got along very happily. Catherine's parents were surprised when they saw Yuan Changqing's family, especially after knowing their strength. They didn't expect that their family's strength was not bad, at least better than them. Some of their dissatisfaction with Yuan Changqing disappeared. After all, his daughter was not bad, and she even found a married woman, which was also a thorn in their hearts. However, after knowing the strength of Yuan Changqing's family, the thorn was easily removed and he agreed that the 2 of them would get married as soon as possible. The 2 families don't have any relatives, because they are both commoners, and they don't have to pay much attention to it. They just stay at home, and the 2 families have a meal, and that's it. After the marriage, Yuan Changqing spent a few days with his family in Tiando City, and they planned to go back. After all, there are still a lot of things to do at home, and I still feel a little uneasy. Now that the things here are completed, Tiando City also took a look. So, after Yuan Changqing and the others sent their families out of the city gate, they looked at the carriage going away and turned back to the hotel. now Yuan Changqing is staying in Catherine's hotel. Because Wang Yuyan is there, after discussing with Catherine, the three of them stayed in the hotel directly. Catherine's parents' martial arts were neither good nor bad, just at the mid-level. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the ability to open a hotel in Tiando City. Catherine's father's martial spirit is Golden Feather Bird, her mother's martial spirit is Grey Eagle, with an innate soul power of level 5, her brother's martial spirit is Golden Feather Eagle, which can also be called Golden Feather Grey Eagle, and her innate soul power is level 6, and her sister-in-law's martial spirit is Golden Feather Eagle. The soul is a white lotus, with innate soul power level 5. After seeing off the family, Yuan Changqing and Catherine went to his father-in-law's house that night. He called Catherine's family together and prepared to tell them about the evolution of Wuhuan. Catherine first said, "Mom, Dad, brother and sister-in-law, what we are going to say today is very important, you must pay attention to it." Catherine's father's name is Hans, her mother's name is Anne, her brother is Tom, her sister-in-law is Miranda, and her two nephews are Anthony and James. Hans said, "What's the matter? Tell me, it's so serious." Everyone was watching her, waiting for what she would say next. "If you want to listen, you must first swear to your martial soul that you will not tell anyone about what you heard today." Tom said, "Why is it so important that you still have to swear to the martial spirit?" Catherine said, "If you want to listen, you must swear." "Will I still harm you?" After Hans and the others looked at each other, they thought it was the same, so everyone swore an oath to the martial spirit. Yuan Changqing then said, "Mom and Dad, what I want to say is something that can serve as a family inheritance for you. First of all, what I want to say is the conditions for the evolution of martial souls. The first is to understand the characteristics of one's own martial soul and feel the martial soul. Low-level martial souls will feel pressure when facing high-level martial souls. This is because high-level martial souls naturally exert pressure on low-level martial souls. This is reflected in soul beasts. Also, high-level martial souls are relatively more perfect and have fewer flaws, while low-level martial souls have more flaws. So, the innate soul power it awakens is weak. Of course, it is not absolute for those high-level martial souls, but it is absolute for low-level martial souls, unless it mutates. Then how do you make a low-level martial spirit better and more perfect? That is to let the martial spirit continuously make up for its flaws and let it evolve. Chapter 32 Surprise. You are listening at MedicalKnowledge. Yuan Changqing added, "As for how to make up for the shortcomings and let the martial soul evolve, we need to first understand the characteristics of our martial soul. Then, select additional soul rings based on the characteristics of each martial soul. At this time, the selection of soul rings is the most important start. Because we want to become stronger because of soul skills. However, not every soul ring is suitable for us, and we can't just choose a soul ring and attach it and ignore it. So, for us low-level martial souls or intermediate martial souls, the choice of each soul ring is very important. Only by carefully selecting the soul rings that are more suitable for us, the soul skills we get will not only be more suitable for our martial souls, but also make up for the shortcomings of our martial souls. With the repair of the defects of the martial soul and the continuous addition of soul rings, the origin of the martial soul can change from a quantitative to a qualitative change, allowing the martial soul to evolve. With this continuous evolution, low and intermediate level martial arts will evolve to high-level, top-level martial arts. And it can also make the martial arts of future generations stronger and stronger with each generation. After Yuan Changqing finished speaking, he stopped talking and waited for everyone to digest the information. Catherine's family was also short of breath, and they did not expect Wuhuan to hide so many things. If Yuan Changqing didn't tell them today, they might never know this in their lifetime. Now they also understand why they were asked to swear in the first place. This is really the secret that can make the family prosperous and prosperous. After a while, everyone calmed down. Catherine said, "Mom and Dad, what I'm saying today is to let you know that if you add soul rings in the future, you must carefully choose soul rings, because only you know everyone's martial soul best. Also, we must learn the knowledge about martial arts. If you don't even know these basic things, it's useless, because we don't have that kind of inheritance. Look at the Soul Master families on the mainland now. It is very likely that their ancestors have discovered these things long ago, and then through generation after generation of research, they slowly made the souls more and more powerful, making the families more and more powerful. Powerful. If our family starts taking action now, we may not be able to slowly develop into a powerful family in the future. Although my brothers and I's martial arts have mutated, they still mutated for the better, but you can also see the situation in the next generation. Anthony and his two brothers still have the same martial arts spirit as you, so you have to supervise them to learn martial arts knowledge. As long as you master the knowledge of martial arts, and then based on the characteristics of martial arts, you can better deduce the soul ring that suits the martial soul. There is also my brother's martial soul. Since the mutation is not complete, I have to choose the soul ring carefully. I may not be able to make further progress in the future. Catherine talked a lot, just hoping that her family would pay attention. After hearing this, Han said, "No wonder those big families produce a large number of soul masters in each generation, even though the innate soul power is uneven." Yuan Changqing said, "This is the inheritance of those big families who have mastered the best martial arts knowledge and soul ring attachments. So, you must study it carefully in the future. You are bird martial spirits. It is best to add a bird spirit beast as a spirit ring. There is also the issue of attributes. Choose the soul rings of bird soul beasts with the same attributes, which is the direction of your research. However, you must also study other soul beasts. After all, hunting soul beasts does not mean that you can hunt whatever you hunt. Then, the soul ring must be attached according to the characteristics of the martial soul and the attributes of the martial soul, so that a more suitable soul ring can be attached." Han said, "It seems that our family has to start thinking carefully about the soul ring of our martial soul." Catherine said, "Yes, in the current soul master world, attaching soul rings is a bit casual. Only those big families have strict requirements for attaching soul rings." Tom said at this time, "No wonder Changqing and your family's strength has improved so obviously. Even the blue-silver grass martial spirit can achieve such strength." Yuan Changqing said, Although our family's strength was not very good in the past, our family is a bit special. That is, each generation has innate soul power after awakening the martial soul, but it is relatively low, but they have also figured out something. Also, I also like to read books. After reading too much, I discovered some things. It was also through some of my theories that our family learned that there are so many secrets about the soul rings attached to martial souls. But as long as we know these things, it's better not to spread them outside, otherwise the big forces won't be able to tolerate us when they find out. Han said, "We definitely won't talk about these things everywhere. Those big families maintain their advantages through these things, and naturally they don't want more people to know. We won't cause trouble for ourselves, after all, we are still very weak now." Then Hans also reminded his family members not to tell anyone. Although they had sworn an oath, they still had to be vigilant. The reason why Yuan Changqing reminded Catherine's family was that he hoped they would not get carried away because they knew the secret. However, Yuan Changqing was not worried that they would tell anyone. They all took the martial soul oath. After all, everyone was smart, otherwise Hans would not be able to earn this family fortune. Now they are both prosperous and disadvantaged, and they cannot implicate his family just because something happens to them. A few days later, Yuan Changqing and the others also returned to school, because the new semester was about to start. Now Catherine has also moved to Yuan Changqing's place, and the three of them have lived a life without shame, which makes Yuan Changqing extremely happy. The teachers in the school also knew that Catherine and Yuan Changqing were married. What they didn't expect was that Catherine would marry Yuan Changqing, a married man. This makes many single teachers very sad, and makes those single people wonder if married men are so popular. However, Yuan Changqing and Catherine also invited teachers they knew well to have a meal at her hotel, and everyone was happy to congratulate them. I don't know if it was sincere or not, but they did the etiquette they were supposed to do. After the school started, it has been 3 years since they came to school, and the students in their class are also in their 3rd grade. Now their students have fewer courses, the teacher has basically finished teaching you the knowledge you need to learn, and the only thing left is to go to the library to learn by yourself. However, Yuan Changqing and his class still have to complete the fixed courses every day. As long as they are completed, you can do whatever you want and no one will care about you. The weekly soul fighting will still take place, but Yuan Changqing and Catherine will not go with them every time, only once in a while, so he has more time and more time to read. Chapter 33 Soul Skill. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Yuan Changqing already has the first soul skill, the light of soul power. The second soul skill is the light of life. The third soul skill is the praise of life, the fourth soul skill, blade storm. The fifth soul skill, sword of ice. The sixth soul skill, blue silver gold shield formation. Chapter 34 Busy. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. With enough time, Yuan Changqing read more and more books in Tiando Royal Academy, as if he had entered the ocean of knowledge, various types of soul beasts, medicinal materials, fragments of soul guides, and some secrets on Douluo Continent, the three major soul beast gathering places on the mainland, sea soul beasts in the sea, the difference between sea soul masters and mainland soul masters, etc. This knowledge also exposed Yuan Changqing to many different things. Now Yuan Changqing seems to be even busier to Catherine and Wang Yuyan. As long as he has time, Yuan Changqing goes to the library to read and sometimes writes and draws with paper in the evening. It's the weekend and I'm going to Tiando City. What are I going to do in Tiando City? He went to work in the blacksmith shop again. This would allow him to easily create some soul guidance device parts. Combining the knowledge contained in the remaining soul guidance device books and his own Feng Shui runes, Yuan Changqing also wanted to create his own soul guidance device. Although he has become busier, Yuan Changqing has not neglected his cultivation. After all, strength is the foundation in Douluo Continent, and he cannot abandon the good to chase the bad. Now Yuan Changqing is a soul master at the Soul King level. With the blessing of soul power, he can forge or materials to the 1000 forging level. The tools he forges are also the most popular in the blacksmith shop, therefore, it is much more convenient for him to use some materials or purchase some special materials. Now on Douluo Continent, many blacksmiths have connections with Jinchuang City. Jinchuang City is also the headquarters of the Blacksmiths Association, where not only a large number of blacksmiths and blacksmith apprentices gather, moreover, Jinchuang City has a richer variety of ores. In addition to the mines controlled by various countries and some sect families, you can buy almost all the ores you want there. Of course, it is difficult to buy some precious or rare ores, and these will basically be collected by major forces. However, you can also go treasure hunting and gamble on stones, relying on luck. The Qibao Glazed sect's Qibao Glazed Pagoda itself has a treasure hunting function, so this sect is very rich. As Yuan Changqing's family also began to develop, he also hoped to find out his unique method of making soul tools as soon as possible. There is a treasure waiting for him in the back mountain of his hometown. If he wants to arrange it well, the base of those formations requires specific magic weapons, otherwise, replacing it with other things will not be able to exert its maximum effect, and it is not impossible to destroy the treasure land. After all, the aura generated by a treasure land can be said to be very powerful. If the aura collides with the aura and causes an explosion, you can imagine how terrifying the power would be. Catherine and Wang Yuyan saw Yuan Changqing's recent busy performance. Although they didn't say anything, they also complained a little. You said that you have fewer things to do at work now, but you are even busier and don't have time to spend time with them. Fortunately, Catherine has recently become pregnant, and Yuan Changqing's seeds are still relatively tenacious. It is said that the temperament of pregnant women will change greatly after pregnancy. No, Yuan Changqing has been causing trouble again recently. When Catherine saw Yuan Changqing returning home, she said, "Oh, isn't this the busy man of our family? Why, where are you going to hook up with beautiful women? There are 2 of you at home and it's not enough. How do you want to go to heaven?" Yuan Changqing was stunned when he heard these strange words, thinking that I didn't do anything. My dear wives, what's going on? Who made you so angry? Who else but you? I have 2 beauties at home, but I haven't seen you for a few days now. Have you forgotten the old one because you have a new one? It's unfair, my dear wife. Isn't it true that the students in the school need soul rings recently? so I and other teachers accompanied the students to the Sunset Forest to hunt for soul beasts. Then why didn't you come back and say anything? If I hadn't heard the school teacher tell me about it, I wouldn't have known about it. Ah. Blame me, blame me. I was busy a few days ago. I forgot about it. Yuan Changqing was also so busy that he forgot about it. He was originally planning to tell Catherine and Wang Yuyan, but he forgot about it when he got busy. However, it was not without reason that Yuan Changqing was willing to hunt the soul beast. He had long thought of looking for the ice and fire eyes in the Sunset Forest. Since he had the conditions, he didn't miss this opportunity, so he went with it. Catherine said, "You said we are not as busy as before." "What are you doing?" Wang Yuyan said. "What else can he do? Either go to the library or go blacksmithing." Of course Catherine knew what he was doing. She said it on purpose. Hearing his two wives say this, he also knew that he had been a bit contemptuous of the two women recently. Okay, it's all my fault. I'll correct it. I'll definitely spend more time with you in the future. Wang Yuyan said, "Brother Changqing, you are really serious. Sister Catherine is pregnant now, and you don't know how to care about her. Also, no matter how busy you are, you can't neglect your family. You should spend more time with your family." Yuan Changqing was also said to have a guilty conscience, and he also thought about what he had done recently. "It seems that I am indeed a little anxious, and some things still need to be done step by step. Yuyan, Catherine, I'm sorry. It's indeed my fault. I shouldn't have ignored you because of my affairs. In the days to come, I will definitely stay with you more and take care of both." Wang Yuyan said, "Brother Changqing, we actually have nothing. It's just that Sister Catherine is pregnant now, and you are often too busy to tell the time. So, you should know that pregnant women have tempers that fluctuate during pregnancy. As a husband, you should pay more attention and care." Yuan Changqing said, "Okay, I understand. I will stay with you during Catherine's pregnancy." In the days that followed, Yuan Changqing stayed with his two wives, borrowing books from the library and reading them at home. In this way, not only can everyone read books together, but it can also enhance the relationship between husband and wife. Occasionally, I would accompany them to Tiando City for shopping during weekends, and such days would be considered leisurely. Perhaps because of what Wang Yuyan said, Yuan Changqing also figured something out. During this period of time, he felt relaxed and his soul power had reached the peak of level 59. He would definitely reach Soul Emperor before the school holidays this year. It seems that the combination of work and rest plays a great role. The wisdom of the ancients really does not deceive me. When Yuan Changqing and the others occasionally went to the tea house to drink tea, they accidentally heard some things happening on the mainland. The most widely spread thing on the mainland now is that the descendant of the Haotian sect, one of the three sects on the Douluo Continent, the new generation of successors of the Haotian sect began to make waves on the mainland, and also gained quite a reputation. Chapter 35 Current Situation in Mainland China. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. Speaking of the current Haotian double star, they are the leaders of the new generation of Haotian sect. Tang Xiao and Tang Hao have now become famous in the mainland, and with the blessing of the Haotian sect, which ranks first among the three major sects, they are even more talkative. Now Tang Hao, who is only 26 or 17 years old, is already a strong man at the Soul Emperor level. He also has the Haotian sect's secret skill Chaotic Cloak Hammering Technique and the self-created soul skill Haotian 9 Ju. The Clear Sky Hammer is known as the #1 offensive martial spirit in the mainland, and with the blessing of the Chaos Cloak Hammer technique, it goes without saying how powerful its attack power is. Yuan Changqing is also a master of blacksmithing, but his martial spirit is not a hammer-type martial spirit, so his skills are pretty good among ordinary blacksmiths of the same level. But for those blacksmiths who specialize in making a living, each of them has some unknown forging skills. This is like the Haotian sect's cloak hammering technique. This unique skill can not only be used against enemies, but can also be used for forging. With the blessing of the Chaos Cloak during forging, you can easily forge ordinary iron blocks into refined iron. Of course, this is not something you can learn just because you want to. The Chaotic Cloak Hammering technique requires not only a strong body, but also strong soul support to unleash its power. there are 99 and 81 blows in the one cloak hammering technique, and each blow is stronger than the last. If you don't have a strong body, you can easily cripple yourself. Yuan Changqing also knows some of the principles of the random cloak hammering technique, which is to use force to strike, and the strength, speed and soul power required are extraordinary. Otherwise, if you use the random cloak hammer technique to fight against the enemy, and you slowly perform it there, it is very likely that you will be the one who suffers the tragedy in the end, just like the self-created soul skill of Feng Shui of Shenfeng Academy in the future, the 36 severe wind slash, which uses high speed to form a powerful cutting force field. If the opponent's soul power is not strong, it will be difficult to break the force field, and then the only fate is failure. Yuan Changqing also slowly figured out some force-generating techniques based on some of the principles he knew. Although it may be different from the original random cloak hammering technique, it can achieve similar effects, but he cannot yet perform the 99 and 80 just one hammer. This is determined by his physical fitness and soul power. Although he has practiced 5 animals is not a complete unique skill in body training, however, because Yuan Changqing's martial spirit is blue-silver grass and has strong vitality, coupled with the daily practice of 5 animals and its health-preserving and body-refining effects, his body's toughness is still very good. Moreover, some of the special effects of the Changchun Ju practiced by Yuan Changqing gradually appeared, and his physical fitness was comparable to some animal martial spirits and weapon martial spirits. As for the special effects of Changchun Ju, we will talk about it later. After all, it is a Taoist secret, and it can't be justified without something. Moving on to the matter of the Haotian double star, Yuan Changqing also roughly knew through the people in the tea house that Tang Hao and himself were about the same age, but look at others, they are all soul emperors in terms of strength, but I have accumulated it in 2 lifetimes, and now I am still a soul king. Looking at those time travelers on the Douluo Continent next door, whether they have twin martial spirits or super martial spirits, and cheating, thinking about my own situation brings tears to my eyes. Catherine's innate soul power is level 8, and now she is a Bensan, and is only an intermediate soul emperor. This is also the norm in the soul master world. Tang Hao from the Haotian sect could reach the advanced soul emperor at the age of 26 or 7. This is the gap. Civilian cultivation can only be practiced step by step. Without top-level techniques and resources, they can only rely on themselves. Backed by a sect like the Haotian sect, coupled with his extraordinary talent, he has worked hard to cultivate him since he was a child, taking medicinal baths and top-notch cultivation techniques. The additional soul rings are also the best soul rings and the best years. As for civilians, if you are talented, the school can hunt for a century-old soul ring for you. As for whether it is the best soul ring and the best years, it depends on luck. As for those with poor talent, you don't have that special treatment. You just get whatever you encounter, which is considered good. If you are unlucky, if you encounter danger when hunting a soul beast for the first time, you might just burp your butt. Therefore, there is no harm without comparison. Yuan Changqing is okay, although the plug-in function of World Pearl is not as strong as that of Douluo Continent next door. However, something is better than nothing, isn't it? The World Pearl is just seriously damaged and there is still time to recover. The Haotian double stars are now roaming the Douluo Continent. Although they will challenge some strong people, they are also fighting in a friendly manner and do not kill or maim each other. Of course, they also did some good deeds when they traveled to the mainland. When they encountered evil soul masters or some bandits who harmed the civilians and occupied the mountains as kings, they would also eliminate these people. No wonder Yu Shaojiang regards Tang Hao as his idol in the future, not only for his cultivation, but also for the reason of eliminating harm for the people. The future golden iron triangle may have appeared because of this. This is also the worship of the Haotian double star by young soul masters today. Yuan Changqing did not expect that there are also idol sect soul masters on Douluo Continent. According to the current age of Tang Hao and Haotian double star, Yuan Changqing deduced that Yu Shaojiang may have left the basketball overlord dragon sect and may not have met Bibi Dong yet. After all, there are still about 18 years left in Tang San's timeline, and Dugu Bo is still a Contra. And there are still about 8 years left before he becomes a title Douluo. Dugu Bo has not discovered the ice and fire eyes yet, and Yuan Changqing feels that he must find the ice and fire eyes as soon as possible. After all, Dugu Bo has a weird personality. If he found it first, the fairy grass inside might say goodbye to Yuan Changqing. It's not like Yuan Changqing didn't want to make friends with Douluo Bo in the past, but Douluo Bo's character is a bit difficult to choose, so he'd better wait and see. Therefore, Yuan Changqing went to the tea house more and more often, and got more and more useful information from the tea house. According to Tang Hao's situation, Tang Hao became a titled Douluo at the age of 45. At that time, Tang San, the son of the world in Douluo Continent, had just been born. Later, his wife Ayin sacrificed to Tang Hao to help him become a titled Douluo. Ayin left behind a blue silver grass seed. Although it did not die completely, it turned into a weak blue silver grass again. Therefore, there are still 18 years until the timeline of Tang San's arrival, and Yuan Changqing doesn't know how far he can cultivate in 18 years. Tiando Royal Academy, Yuan Changqing's home. Catherine said, "Husband, why do you like running to tea houses so much lately? I rarely see you reading at home after holidays. Don't you like reading very much?" Wang Yuyan was also very curious, so she looked at Yuan Changqing with a curious look on her face. "My dear wives, I just want to spend more time with you. You see, if you go out for a walk more and drink tea, you will feel better." A happy mood is good for Catherine, and it will also be good for the fetus. Seeing Yuan Changqing say this with a serious face, the two women were speechless. They would not believe it. Catherine added, "Why don't we two sisters not believe it? If there was nothing special, you would be so diligent and run to the tea house so frequently." Chapter 36 Small Talk. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Yuan Changqing saw that Catherine and Wang Yuyan didn't believe what he said, so he had nothing to hide. "Although I didn't say everything, some of them really do think that way. Do you think being in a happy mood will be good for Catherine and the fetus in her belly?" Catherine said, "Okay, even if what you said is true, what about the others?" "There's nothing else, I just went to listen to the fun." Wang Yuyan said, "It's lively." "What's so lively about the tea house?" "They're just idle people bragging and passing the time." Yuan Changqing said, "You don't know this. There are some braggarts in this tea house, but it's not all bragging. Think about it, you guys, they have people from all 3 religions and 9 streams, and they have been exposed to a lot of things on Douluo Continent. So, if you want to know what is happening on the mainland, going to the tea house is a good choice. Some of these people often travel to various places and know a lot of things. If you want to get information in the future, maybe you can get it from these restaurants." Catherine said, "Then what did you hear?" "Ha ha ha, it's nothing. They are basically talking about the Haotian sect's Haotian twin stars Tang Xiao and Tang Hao. Now they are great figures in Douluo Continent. Then Tang Hao is already a high-level soul emperor at the age of 26 or 7, and has also made quite a name for himself in Douluo Continent." Wang Yuyan exclaimed, "It's so powerful. He's already a high-level soul emperor when he's only 26 or 7. I don't know when he will become a soul king." Yuan Changqing comforted, "Yuyan, you don't have to worry, you still have me and Catherine, and our child Qinglan." Catherine also comforted, "That's right, you still have us, as well as grandparents, parents, and sister-in-law." Wang Yuyan smiled and said, "Brother Changqing, Sister Catherine, I'm fine, I just sighed." Yuan Changqing added, "Don't think too much. After all, they are backed by the Haotian sect. They have high innate soul power and constant resources since they were young. They practice the best martial arts on the mainland, and their soul rings are also helped by strong men from the sect. Coupled with the sect's inheritance, it's normal to practice quickly. It's different for us civilians. We have no resources, and our cultivation depends entirely on our own hard work. But our family doesn't need to worry now. Although our innate soul power is low, but we have family-inherited skills, we will slowly improve. Although our talents are not good, as long as we practice unremittingly, we will slowly improve. Up." Catherine said, "Yes, after I practice this technique now, through comparison, the previous techniques are just 1 or 2 points worse. If I had this technique before, it is impossible to say that I am a soul saint." Wang Yuyan said, Well, I will work hard to practice, don't worry. Catherine changed the subject and said, husband, will you be able to cultivate to the level of Soul Emperor this year? Yuan Changqing also said happily, yes, I am now the peak Soul King at level 59, and I am still a little short of breaking through. I will definitely reach the Soul Emperor this year. I didn't expect that my husband, your cultivation speed is not bad at all. You are almost as good as the Soul Emperor. Yes, if blue silver grass hadn't evolved twice, I wouldn't have been able to practice the eternal spring art so fast even if I had practiced it. Then after I give birth to the child, I will have to practice hard, otherwise I don't know when you will catch up with me. Now you have also practiced the eternal spring art. Although you are pregnant with a child this year and your level will not be improved, after you give birth to a child, you will definitely be promoted to Soul Saint in a few years. Well, hubby, since you have been studying martial arts for so long, haven't you ever thought about helping Sister Yuyan's martial arts evolve? Wang Yuyan said, Sister Catherine, you wrongly blamed Brother Changqing. There is still a difference between my martial spirit and the martial spirits on the mainland. My martial spirit is not like the beast martial spirit, the weapon martial spirit and the plant martial spirit. Like the beast martial spirit and the plant martial spirit, there are reference objects in the spirit beast, and the weapon martial spirit only needs to have corresponding attributes. My martial spirit is Changling, which is difficult to refer to. Therefore, Brother Changqing followed the route I took. The requirements for additional soul rings are to increase the sturdiness, functionality, and usage of Changling. Come and attach a soul ring. To the technological world, Changling belongs to cloth and fiber, but Douluo Continent does not have this explanation, so they don't know, and Yuan Changqing doesn't know how to explain it. Therefore, the soul ring arranged for Wang Yuyan was based on the hardness, toughness and functionality of the reinforced fiber, those soul beasts that spin silk, special soul beasts, etc. And the metallic ones among plant-based soul beasts are good choices, Catherine said. Oh, so that's it, but sister. Yuyan's martial spirit is indeed relatively poor. How to choose the spirit ring, and you can only verify it one by one. Anyway, it's good to have a direction. Wang Yuyan said, yes, but I am also very satisfied with the soul ring attached now. Although I don't know if it is the most suitable for my martial soul, I can feel that it has indeed been strengthened a lot. Then it seems that the soul ring you attached to me, Sister Yuyan, is not bad, at least there is no deviation. Yuan Changqing said, in the world of soul masters, it is really difficult to choose soul rings for some special martial souls, but they are very rare. In fact, I think Yuyan's best choice for additional soul rings is those that spin silk. However, the abilities of the silk-spinning soul beasts are also mixed, and some are not easy to deal with, so I put them together. Also, soul beasts are not what we want, so for us, the right one is the most important. Catherine said, that's right. After all, hunting soul beasts is quite dangerous. Sometimes it's better not to force it. Since Yuan Changqing clarified the timeline, he has gained a better understanding of the current Douluo Continent. Although Wuhuan Palace is the most powerful organization in the continent, it has not yet reached its peak state. The Haotian sect is now at its peak, and not even the Spirit Hall dares to touch it easily. As for the specific situation of Qibao Glazed sect and Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, Yuan Changqing does not know, but being among the top 3 sects, their strength cannot be underestimated. Although the remaining sects are weaker, apart from not having top-level combat power like Title Douluo, there is no shortage of high-end combat power. There is also the confrontation between the two empires. Generally speaking, the mainland is relatively calm. Yuan Changqing is also developing in a low profile now. Since coming to Tiando City, he has chosen to be a teacher. On the one hand, it can be protected by the academy. After all, the Tiando Royal Academy has the endorsement of the Tiando Empire. As long as the brain is not sick, it will not rashly provoke the Tiando Empire. On the other hand, he is not very strong now and needs to develop in a low-key manner and learn knowledge from Tiando Royal Academy. In any world, knowledge is precious. In the end, you can understand Douluo Continent better and avoid becoming blind yourself. Chapter 37 The Sixth Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Catherine's belly is getting bigger and bigger. Now she is no longer in charge of things in the class. Yuan Changqing is mainly in charge, she is mainly raising her baby at home now. Fortunately, Wang Yuyan is with her, otherwise she might get bored. Wang Yuyan has been following Yuan Changqing for the past 2 years, accompanying him silently without any complaints. Maybe this is Wang Yuyan's character. She is very quiet. In the past, when Yuan Changqing was not at home, she would read, practice, cook, and clean up the housework. Later, she became friends with Catherine and became sisters, and she also had her first good friend of the same sex, a good sister. However, after having Catherine, she had someone to talk to. Catherine also took good care of her during the pregnancy and taught her many tips on taking care of the child. This year, Yuan Changqing's child has also awakened his martial spirit, which is still blue silver grass. It seems that after his martial spirit evolved, his descendants also inherited his martial spirit. However, Wang Yuyan's martial spirit is not very good after all. The child of Yuan Changqing's sister-in-law is the awakened martial spirit of Yi Xiaofan. In the final analysis, the awakened martial spirit will still choose the stronger side. After Yuan Qinglan's martial soul awakened, her soul power reached level 4, initially reaching a medium level. Seeing that Catherine is about to give birth in less than 2 months, Yuan Changqing's martial spirit has reached a high-level martial spirit, and Catherine's martial spirit is a mutated martial spirit. There is a high possibility of inheriting his martial spirit in the future. Yuan Changqing also practiced hard this year and successfully reached level 60 Quasi-Soul Emperor. Originally, he was going to ask the teachers at the college for help, but Catherine wanted him to wait until the child was born, and she could help him then. Finally, Yuan Changqing thought about it and felt that it would be safer to have someone to take care of each other. This semester has come to an end and the students are on vacation. Wow wow wow. With a burst of crying, Yuan Changqing's second child was born successfully, also a boy. Yuan Changqing held the child in his arms and looked at Catherine's tired look, her hair wet with sweat, holding the child and watching with Catherine. The smile on her face exuded the brilliance of motherhood. She was also the mother of a child now and became a mother. Yuan Changqing also discussed with Catherine the name of the child, Yuan Hailan, hoping that he would be as blue as the sea and as broad as the sea. A month and a half later, Catherine also fully recovered. After all, she is a soul master and recovers quickly. Yuan Changqing is also preparing to go to the Sunset Forest to hunt soul beasts and add a 6th soul ring to herself. With Wang Yuyan at home, it was also convenient to take care of the child. During the time when she and Catherine were away, the child was given milk. The current chiefs of Tiando Royal Academy are not Meng Xinji and the others. They are still soul saints, and they are also the directors of various departments in the academy. Therefore, Yuan Changqing invited Jilin and Bai Baoshan. One of them was from the control system and the other was from the defense system, plus Catherine and her uncle Yi Xiaofan. That's right. Yuan Changqing also wrote a letter to invite his uncle Yi Xiaofan. After all, he was going to hunt a 10,000-year-old soul beast, which was more dangerous. Sunset in the forest, Yuan Changqing and his party began to look for a suitable plant-based soul beast, and this time they needed a defensive soul skill, so they are looking for metallic plant-type soul beasts. As they went deeper into the Sunset Forest, they also saw many 10,000-year soul beasts. But Yuan Changqing and the others still walked around those 10,000-year soul beasts. Otherwise, a fight would very likely attract some other spirit beasts, which would be bad. Fortunately, 10,000-year level spirit beasts have a strong sense of territory, and Yuan Changqing and the others successfully avoided them. If you want to choose the right soul ring, you need to be patient, especially the 10,000-year level soul ring, because it is more dangerous. A few days later, Jilin looked ahead and said, Xiao Yuan, look at the King Kong tree in front of you. It's about 30,000 years old. Yuan Changqing looked for the sound and saw a tall diamond tree in front of him. The trunk was golden and the leaves also had golden threads. Director Jilin, this is it. This diamond tree is very suitable for me. After searching for so many days, I finally found the right one. Bai Baoshan also said, this King Kong tree is not easy to fight, and its defense is not weak. Jilin said, Lao Bai, now we need you to be in front. Catherine and Xiaoye will be the main attackers, I will control, Xiaoyuan will be the backup force and pay attention to the surrounding situation. Good. Everyone said in unison. The first soul skill, Azure Binding. The fourth soul skill, Poisonous Sting. Jilin first used martial arts to bind the crown of the King Kong tree, and then used poison to control it. The fifth soul skill, Star Furnace Shadow. Bai Baoshan also used his defensive soul skills to block the front. The second soul skill, Light Cutting. The fifth soul skill, Spiral Strangulation. The sixth soul skill, Golden Wing Slash. When Catherine came up, she immediately enlarged her moves and bombarded the King Kong tree indiscriminately. The third soul skill, Fiery Sword. The sixth soul skill, Soaring Pillar of Fire. My uncle Yi Xiaofan's soul skills are very harmful to the King Kong tree, due to the restraint of attributes and the fact that the King Kong tree cannot move. The diamond tree was also resisting fiercely. Its branches kept breaking the shackles of Jilin's soul skills, but Jilin released his soul skills after the soul skills failed and then bounded again. This may be the fate of some plant-type soul beasts. Of course, there are also some terrifying plant-type soul beasts, but even the weaker titled Douluo dare not provoke them. Catherine and her uncle continued to attack, and the King Kong tree's struggle became smaller and smaller. Not long after, Jilin called Yuan Changqing. Xiao Yuan, come here quickly and stab the root of the Vajra tree. Yuan Changqing also hurried over and used his soul skill directly. The fifth soul skill, Sword of Ice. As a black soul ring gradually emerged, it was officially announced that the King Kong tree had come to an end. Yuan Changqing immediately sat up cross-legged, first restored his soul power, and then after calming down, he pulled the soul ring and began to absorb it. When Yuan Changqing absorbed the soul ring, except Bai Baoshan, the other three people also recovered their soul power. After the three of them had almost recovered, they saw that Yuan Changqing was still absorbing the soul ring, and was also guarding the surroundings, observing the surrounding situation. As time passed slowly, Yuan Changqing also came to the critical moment. He looked insistent, his body began to tremble, and Catherine and the four of them also became nervous. At this time, because of the strong soul power in the soul ring, it flowed through the body like magma, stirring Yuan Changqing's body. There was also a battle in the sea of consciousness, and the remnant soul of the Vajra tree was also entangled with Yuan Changqing, but Yuan Changqing slowly gained the upper hand, and victory was only a matter of time. After a while, everyone felt relieved after watching Yuan Changqing calm down. Bai Baoshan said, I didn't expect that Yuan Boy Lan Yin Chao could cultivate to the level of Soul Emperor. He is simply a freak. Jilin also said, yes, but I think I heard Xiao Yuan say that he had a little adventure and ate a crystal blood dragon ginseng. Bai Baoshan said, that's not surprising. This boy is really lucky. Not only is he lucky, but he also married a beautiful teacher like Catherine back home. Ha. Catherine blushed and said, Director Bai, this is everyone's opportunity. You see, there are very few people in Douluo Continent who can encounter such opportunities. Jilin said, yes, this is not just about opportunity, but also about everyone's efforts. If you don't work hard, even if you have the opportunity, it will be in vain. A few people just chatted one after another period of time passed, and Yuan Changqing also successfully completed the absorption of the soul ring and stood up. Thank you so much to Director Jilin and Director by this time. Ha, it's okay. Besides, you are also a teacher in the college. Helping you is helping the college. Then I won't say anything more. When I get back, I'll treat you to a meal in Tiando City to thank you for your help. Jilin and Bai Baoshan also readily agreed. Later, Yuan Changqing saw the body of the King Kong tree, cut the trunk into several sections and put them away, and everyone left the Sunset Forest and returned to Tiando City. Chapter 38 Building an Alchemy Furnace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuan Changqing obtained his sixth soul ring, which reached 31,200 years. He was already a level 61 soul emperor. The soul skill he obtained was the blue-silver-gold shield array. The blue-silver-gold shield array can form 6 shields, and can form 6 protective shields around itself for defense. The shield position can be adjusted according to your own needs. After everyone returned to Tiando City, Yuan Changqing invited Jilin and Bai Baoshan to have a meal together at Catherine's hotel. The wealth would not go to outsiders, to express his gratitude to them for helping him obtain the soul ring. After eating, everyone went back to school together and then went home. Young Uncle Yi Xiaofan was left in the hotel by Yuan Changqing, who asked him to stay here for one night and go home together tomorrow. Now Yuan Changqing also returns to his hometown to reunite with his family at the end of every semester. Next year he will bring his eldest son Yuan Qinglan to Tiando City to attend junior college. Moreover, in order to prevent Wang Yuyan from having nothing to do in the past 2 years, he also found a lot of books for her to read. Whether it was the herbal atlas on Douluo Continent or the Chinese medicine knowledge from Yuan Changqing's previous life, they were all written down and handed over to Wang Yuyan. There were also some medical books collected by Yuan Changqing, and Wang Yuyan also read them all, leaving only practice. This knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine is generally common in these 2 worlds. Combined with the herbal atlas on Douluo Continent, they can be integrated and integrated. Yuan Changqing also plans to ask Wang Yuyan to open a clinic in Tiando City next year, so that he can practice his medical skills and earn an income. Although there are healing soul masters in Douluo Continent, their charges are relatively expensive, and few civilians can afford to hire soul masters for treatment. Then Wang Yuyan can also help those civilians by opening a clinic. After all, the largest base on Douluo Continent is civilians, and the proportion of soul masters only accounts for a very small part. When Yuan Changqing is free, he can help. After all, his medical experience is not very good. This is also an opportunity to practice. These things will be passed down in the future. Catherine left the child for a few days and couldn't wait to hold the child when she returned home, full of the glory of motherhood. Yuan Changqing also briefly explained to Wang Yuyan the process of hunting the soul beast this time, and how he planned to return to his hometown of Lanin village tomorrow. Wang Yuyan has not seen her child for almost a year and misses him very much. Yuan Changqing said, Yuyan, Qinglan has also awakened his martial spirit. Next year we will bring him to Tiando City to study at the Junior Soul Master Academy. This way you don't have to be separated from your children for so long. Our family can live together so far away. Wang Yuyan said, Well, thank you, Brother Changqing. The next day, Yuan Changqing and his family came to Catherine's hotel, met up with his uncle Yi Xiaofan, chartered a carriage, and headed towards Soto City in the kingdom of Barak, Blue Silver Village. Yuan Changqing's family returned to Lanin village and reunited with their family. Everyone also saw the new member Yuan Hailan. Now the family business is getting better and better, and my sister-in-law and uncle are based in Soto City. My sister-in-law's strength has improved rapidly now, and she is not far away from the Soul Emperor. She can obtain the Soul Ring next year. Dad Yuan Fei is already a level 51 attack Soul King, and his martial soul has successfully evolved to the advanced martial soul Lan Yin Ho. Every member of the family has improved and is thriving. Yuan Changqing is very happy to see this. Now that he is on a long vacation, Yuan Changqing has more time, so he doesn't need to be distracted from his research. Through reading and collecting some knowledge about soul guidance devices in the academy, he also knew that the most important thing about a soul guidance device is the core part and the formation patterns on it. Therefore, although Yuan Changqing's current mastery of formation patterns is incomplete, he can conduct further research. Based on the runes in Feng Shui, he first drew various possible array pattern designs on the drawings, then made the core parts and engraved the array patterns one by one. This time Yuan Changqing wanted to build an alchemy furnace, so he designed several functional soul guide cores for this alchemy furnace. The first is the fire control core, which controls the size of the flame energy gathering core, which gathers energy to ensure sufficient energy. The chi gathering core is to gather soul power to ensure that the furnace is full of soul power. Solidifying the core is to ensure that when refining an elixir, it can be directly condensed into an elixir. It can be used to refine elixirs or powders. You only need to control the core to choose according to the requirements. This is only the core part, and there are also fingerprints that connect the core to input soul power, which are fixed on the outside of the furnace body. In this way, it can be controlled by inputting the amount of soul power according to the needs of the alchemist. Of course, the stove also has a shell, a large outer shell and a small inner shell, and the core is installed between the two shells. There is also a furnace cover. This furnace cover also has a transparent window that can be used to observe the situation inside the furnace. A gas-gathering core must also be installed inside, therefore, according to Yuan Changqing's plan, an alchemy furnace needs a fire control core, an energy-gathering core, 2 gas-gathering cores, and a solidification core. These cores are connected to the fingerprints of the shell. If you need to use that function, enter it on the fingerprints. Soul power is enough, therefore, when refining elixirs, you only need to refine various medicinal materials into medicinal liquids at first, then cover the furnace lid, input soul power from the furnace cover, warm and nourish the medicinal liquid, and then solidify the medicinal liquid, and finally turn it into pills. But this is an assumption. Now Yuan Changqing is just doing experiments to see which of the drawings he designed is useful, therefore, after Yuan Changqing returned home, Catherine and Wang Yuyan didn't care much about him. I wonder if it was like this after having children, therefore, Yuan Changqing went into his blacksmith shop every day, kept striking iron, and kept carving formation patterns. Just these experiments wasted a lot of materials. In the end, Yuan Changqing was able to build several cores. Not only that, he also created the core of a dragon-seeking disc for himself. This is his tool for finding the ice and fire eyes in the future. According to Yuan Changqing's guess, there must be a relatively strong magnetic field near the ice and fire eyes, therefore, Yuan Changqing directly created the core parts of a dragon-seeking plate based on what he knew from Feng Shui books in his previous life and combined with the formation patterns of this world. After the core parts were completed, Yuan Changqing began to build the shell of the alchemy furnace and the shell of the dragon-seeking plate. Although the outer shell is not as difficult as the core parts, since the alchemy furnace is relatively large, it requires a lot of physical effort, because what Yuan Changqing wants to make is a high-quality product. Both the selection of raw materials and the final forging requirements are not small. Yuan Changqing has to forge the entire furnace body to the 1000 forging level, which is a waste of energy and time. In this way, Yuan Changqing worked hard every day, recovered, worked hard again, and went back and forth in recovery. As time passed, he finally completed it. This time can be regarded as a test for Yuan Changqing. Both physically and mentally, he has completed a baptism, making Yuan Changqing's whole person seem to have been sublimated. Chapter 39 Rest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After all the parts were built, Yuan Changqing returned home and slept for 3 days and 3 nights. Yuan Changqing's condition frightened Wang Yuyan and Catherine, and their family members were worried when they found out. In the end, Grandpa checked and found out that he was too tired. He was recovering now, so don't worry. It seemed that Grandpa, the head of the family, was the calmest and did not get into trouble. Yuan Changqing was indeed exhausted both physically and mentally after this period of intense work, so after he finished what he needed to build, he relaxed and entered a state of recovery while sleeping. But this high-intensity work also tempered Yuan Changqing's body and spirit, making his willpower stronger, which is not without its benefits. 3 days later, Yuan Changqing felt unusually hungry when he woke up. Walking out of the room and into the living room, I saw Catherine and Wang Yuyan there. "Honey, do you have anything to eat? I'm starving to death." When he saw the fruit on the table in the living room, he picked it up and ate it while asking the 2 women if they had anything to eat. Wang Yuyan stood up quickly and said, "Yes, I know you have been exhausted during this period, so I have prepared it for you a long time ago. I am still warming it up for you in the kitchen. I will bring it to you right now." "Okay, thank you 2 wives." Wang Yuyan went to the kitchen to serve him food, and Catherine began to scold him. "Why don't you take care of your body so much? Do you know that you have been sleeping for 3 days and 3 nights, which frightened Sister Yuyan and I? If something goes wrong with you, Sister Yuyan and I have 2 more. What should I do with the child?" Catherine began to burst into tears as she spoke. Yuan Changqing was a little embarrassed and said, "Isn't it the time when I was doing it smoothly, so I didn't stop?" He added, "I will never forget about food and sleep like this again. Through this time, my forging level has reached a new level. If I want to make further progress, I need to wait until my soul power becomes stronger and my mental power improves. At this time, Wang Yuyan also brought the food, and Yuan Changqing sat on the table and started eating. Catherine tilted her head to the side and wiped her tears. She didn't want Wang Yuyan to see her cry. When Wang Yuyan saw Yuan Changqing eating with big mouthfuls, she felt heartbroken. "Brother Changqing, have you finished the alchemy furnace now?" "It's basically done. All that's left is the final assembly. After the assembly is completed, I have to try it out to see if it can meet my design requirements." Catherine said, "Can you still make elixirs?" Yuan Changqing scratched his head and said, "I have never made this elixir before, but I do know how to prepare medicine. I can just use this to make an elixir. As long as the elixir can be refined, the effect should be the same. As long as you understand the properties of medicine, you can combine different medicinal materials into combinations with different effects, and you can refine different elixirs. Actually, the best alchemist should be a fire attribute soul master. Our only fire attribute soul masters are my uncle and Yiguang. However, we can also use external force, but it's not that convenient. However, even a fire attribute soul master still has high requirements for soul power. Of course, I'm talking about refining alchemy without the help of external forces. There are not so many requirements for some medicine powders. After all, medicine powders are basically the lowest level medicines." The two women had an idea when they heard what Yuan Changqing said. They didn't expect that there were so many conditions for alchemy. Wang Yuyan said, "Brother Changqing, you have read so many books on medicine and the like to me. Will I also be able to make elixirs in the future? Alchemy refining does not just happen. It requires repeated practice, such as mastering the heat. If the heat is too high, the medicinal materials will be turned into ashes. Moreover, the heat required for each medicinal material is also different, and the time for adding the medicinal materials is also different. Only through constant experimentation can you have the possibility of making alchemy once you master these. Therefore, when making alchemy, the control of the heat and the order in which the medicinal materials are put in are crucial. But let's not be discouraged. We can start simple. As long as we are familiar with the medicinal materials, we will become proficient in them later." Catherine and Wang Yuyan heard what Yuan Changqing said and knew that making alchemy was not easy. Catherine said, "Husband, when will you assemble your alchemy furnace?" "Let's wait a few days. Let me rest for a few days and recover my body and mind to the best condition before assembly. This period of time has really exhausted me. This is the first time since I was a child that I have been so tired. However, although I am very tired, after this time, my spirit has become more condensed, and I am more confident about absorbing soul rings with a longer lifespan in the future." After the two women heard this, they were also happy for Yuan Changqing. After all, the older the soul ring is absorbed, the stronger the soul skills will be. A few days later, during the few days of rest, Yuan Changqing did nothing. Apart from practicing his unshakable soul power every day, he just relaxed his mood every day. Combining work and rest is the best way to recover, and Yuan Changqing is also recovering quickly. After recovering, Yuan Changqing went to the blacksmith shop alone with a full mood and began to assemble the alchemy furnace and the dragon-seeking plate. Looking at the two piles of parts, one for the alchemy furnace and one for the dragon-seeking plate, Yuan Changqing placed them in two piles after finishing the parts. Now it was time to complete the final assembly. Yuan Changqing first walked towards the pile of parts on the Xuanlong plate, pick up the parts, put them on the workbench, and start assembling them in the designed order. Yuan Changqing assembled the parts one by one. These were not complicated. He had assembled all the previous storage spaces. After a while, the dragon-seeking disc appeared completely in front of him. Looking at his work, he felt relieved. As for the function of this dragon-seeking plate, it's hard to say yet. This is also the first time he has made it. Yuan Changqing also had a dragon-seeking disc in his previous life, which was left to him by his grandfather, so he doesn't know what this one is like now. Yuan Changqing plans to wait for the work here to be completed and then go to the 7 Stars and Moon treasure land in the back mountain to try the effect. If it is feasible, then Yuan Changqing can build the formation base and formation flag of that treasure land. He has also prepared a lot of materials for the formation flag. The King Kong tree that Yuan Changqing got last time when he obtained the 6th soul ring is a very good material. After all, it is a 30,000-year-old King Kong tree, but there is a formation to be arranged there, and it is also a continuous formation. This is a formation within a formation. It is still a test of your own level, and you need to be cautious, but just take your time. It is still most important to consider the things in front of you. Chapter 40 Jinchuang Medicine. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. After the dragon-seeking plate was made, Yuan Changqing put away his storage bracelet, moved the parts of the alchemy furnace to the workbench and started assembling them in order. After finally seeing the finished product, a purple-green stove came into view. There was nothing special about its shape, with 3 legs and 2 ears. Next to the stove in the blacksmith shop, Yuan Changqing put the assembled stove directly on it and started to warm it. Then he directly tested every function of the alchemy furnace. After all the experiments were completed, there were no problems, and Yuan Changqing was relieved. The alchemy furnace is kept burning on the stove, and is checked again after a period of time. After these procedures, if there is no problem, it is considered a success. After successfully building the alchemy furnace, Yuan Changqing can proceed to the next step. After arriving in Soto City, Yuan Changqing asked the 2 girls to go to the store in Soto City to find their sister-in-law, and then went to the drug store in the city to buy medicinal materials alone. This time I mainly bought some common herbs, so I could buy more and it wouldn't cost much, those relatively precious medicinal materials, as Yuan Changqing is still a novice in alchemy, would be a waste of money if they were used for training. Yuan Changqing mainly bought some medicinal materials for trauma this time, as well as medicinal materials that can detoxify weaker poisons. Cheap is the standard for purchasing medicinal materials this time, so even if the medicinal materials are wasted, it will not cost much. Later, after Yuan Changqing bought the needed medicinal materials, he went to find Catherine and the others. When I came to my store, I saw them all there, so I walked over. "Sister-in-law, are you busy?" But when my sister-in-law saw that it was Yuan Changqing, she said, "What are you busy with?" "Just settling accounts." "What about you? Have you bought the things?" "Well, I have already bought it. There are no precious medicinal materials to buy, so I can buy them relatively quickly." "Well, are you ready to go back? If you don't want to play in the city, accompany Yuan and Catherine to Soto City." "I won't go. I have to go back and try to make medicine in the alchemy furnace." "Please go slow and accompany them." After Yuan Changqing finished speaking, he said to Catherine and Wang Yuyan, "You and my sister-in-law can go to the city to look around later. You can also stay at my sister-in-law's place for a few days." "Okay. Okay." After the 2 girls agreed, Yuan Changqing didn't plan to stay any longer, because he was still thinking about alchemy in his heart, so he said hello to his sister-in-law and left. "Sister-in-law, you are relatively familiar with the city. Please help take care of Catherine and Yuyan. They will play with you for a few days, and I will go back first." My sister-in-law replied, "Okay, you can go back. We are all soul masters. There is nothing to be afraid of. Don't worry." After returning to Lanin village, after lunch, Yuan Changqing went into the blacksmith shop again. Because Yuan Changqing is not a fire attribute soul master, it is still not very convenient to make alchemy, so he needs to use a fire stove to assist in alchemy. However, the martial soul is blue-silver grass, and the soul power is biased towards vitality. It may not be useless for refining the elixir. At least it is beneficial to continue to warm and nourish the elixir after it is completed. According to Yuan Changqing's analysis of the elixir refining steps, after the elixir is completed, the elixir may not be full enough, and it needs to continue to be warmed and cured for some time, so that the refined elixir can exert its medicinal effect. After preparing everything, Yuan Changqing recited the general outline of Changchun Ju silently in his mind to clear his mind of distracting thoughts and calm down his mood. Come to the stove and slowly increase the fire on the stove through the bellows to heat the alchemy furnace. Then, Yuan Changqing came to the alchemy furnace and began to pass through the fire control core. Now the flame energy in the furnace has entered the energy gathering core, the fire control core was controlled by Yuan Changqing and began to add medicinal materials to the alchemy furnace and refine the medicinal materials into liquid medicine. Each medicinal material requires constant experimentation. Only in this way can each medicinal material be refined into a medicinal liquid according to how high the heat and how long it takes. In one afternoon, Yuan Changqing failed to experiment with several medicinal materials. This was also a waste of time. Yuan Changqing could only slowly and repeatedly experiment and then record it. This was valuable experience in alchemy. Although we are still experimenting with ordinary medicinal materials now, once we become proficient, we will understand the characteristics of other medicinal materials in the future, which will reduce the number of failures. Therefore, Yuan Changqing's daily work has become to verify the refining process of medicinal materials. A few days later, Yuan Changqing recorded the information on refining trauma medicine powder and ordinary detoxification pills. With a sense of accomplishment on his face, after the final refining work began, the medicinal materials were put into the alchemy furnace one by one in order and the refining began. These medicinal materials are refined, and the remaining medicinal material residues are discharged from the alchemy furnace through the reserve channels, and the final residue is the medicinal liquid. Then, Yuan Changqing closed the furnace lid, controlled the fire with one hand to continue refining the liquid medicine, and placed the other hand on the soul-gathering core fingerprint on the furnace body to gather soul power. After you see through the observation window of the furnace cover that the liquid medicine has completely gathered into a ball and one color, close the fire control core and move your hand to the solidification core fingerprint. By inputting soul power, the solidification of the medicinal liquid is accelerated. Because this is refining medicinal powder, it is directly solidified together. There is no need to control the separation of the medicinal liquid to solidify it into an elixir like elixir refining. After the liquid is cured, the hands on the solidification core are transferred to the furnace cover, which also has a spirit gathering core. At this time, the two spirit gathering cores are used to warm and nourish the solidified medicine powder. The current medicine powder cannot be called medicine powder because it is still a solid mass. Only after it is refined, take it out and grind it directly into powder. As the medicine powder is cured and becomes shiny, it can be fired. In this way, the furnace medicine powder is officially completed. As for the effect, it is not clear yet, but there is a fighting spirit field in Soto City. When the time comes, just go there and try it on the injured. Then, Yuan Changqing went on to refine all the remaining trauma medicine powder. As the saying goes, practice makes perfect, and it became more and more smooth. He refined all the medicine powder in almost one day. Finally, Yuan Changqing also gave the medicine a vivid name, Jinchuang. Maybe he was remembering his past life. The Jinchuang medicine has been refined, and the only thing left is the antidote pill. However, today's time limit does not allow it, so Yuan Changqing also called it a day and prepared to continue refining the antidote pill tomorrow. During dinner, since Catherine and Wang Yuyan were at their sister-in-law's place in Soto City, there were only grandparents, parents, and parents in the family, and their younger brothers and sisters went to their sister-in-law's place. The two siblings were also 17 years old and couldn't stay at home, so they went to help in the shops in Soto City. It seemed that young people, no matter what world they were in, wanted to live in the city. After all, there are not as many people in rural areas as there are in cities, and they are not as lively as in cities. Maybe that's the reason. While eating, Yuan Changqing also said that he had successfully refined the medicinal powder named Jinchuang. Then, he took out a small jade bottle and showed it to Grandpa and the others. After all, Douluo Continent is also a fantasy world. There are still a lot of jade in this world, especially ordinary jade. Therefore, before preparing to refine the elixir, Yuan Changqing prepared many small jade bottles like this, which will be used for refining the elixir in the future. Yuan Changqing also told his grandfather and others that Jinchuang still didn't know how effective it was, and after they took a look at it, he took it back.